Web applications organize content and functionality into individual components within a window. Users might only need a subset of these components to achieve their task. However, desktop interfaces only let them manipulate entire windows, resulting in inefficient use of screen real estate and suboptimal workflows. Instead, we believe that by letting users detach individual components from an interface, they can make better use of their screen space and develop novel workflows. We present Masonview, a desktop interface system that helps users manage content instead of windows. Masonview lets users decompose web pages into components of interest and compose layouts assembled with the selected components. Masonview is built on two concepts: viewports, which provide frames to web content, and viewplates, which are structural substrates that dynamically hold and represent viewports. These two concepts together can reveal new ways to represent information on the desktop. Viewports generalize the concept of a window. In fact, a default viewport behaves just like a window on a desktop. Here, we see a project taskboard and a timeline chart in two separate views. Instead of switching between the two windows, users can crop the viewport to elements of the web's DOM to construct a more concise layout of information. By holding the modifier key and pointing to an element to select, Masonview highlights the component under their cursor. Scrolling up or down expands or shrinks the selection from the DOM hierarchy, and clicking the selection crops the viewport, turning it into a standalone component while retaining its functionality. Dragging the selection instead lets you swiftly carry the viewport to a new location, and using the Shift key while selecting an element creates a copy of the viewport. To return to the full view, unraveling the viewport reveals the full page. Masonview's mechanism for forming viewports from elements frees content from the web pages they live in, letting users organize only the components they want. Viewports are supported by viewplates, viewport substrates that enable dynamic representations of the contained viewports. Viewplates enable new affordances for representing and organizing content on the desktop. Here's how a user might create notes for a class assignment. Here, we see viewports for images, notes, and a search bar in the same desktop window. Viewplates enable the user to group detached components to ease management of many items on the desktop. Users can construct UI mashups by bringing viewports together by dragging a viewplate onto another. In this case, the text blocks can attach onto one another, and images can be grouped into a bundle. To help further manage grouped viewports, Masonview enables users to resize the viewplate to shrink the contents inside. However, resizing the viewplate makes its content harder to read, so Masonview presents it in a more comprehensible representation with semantic resize. Resizing the viewplate until the content becomes hard to see transforms the viewports into horizontal or vertical tabs, collapsing the viewports into compact objects that are still easy to revisit. And since Masonview is content-driven, minimized viewports can be represented using their content. Further reducing the viewplate creates a pile, serving as a very concise representation of the content inside. Users can then add viewports into the viewplate as if they are adding them to the pile. Finally, enlarging the viewplate automatically reorganizes the content into a grid. Since all representations are the same viewplate substrate, users can merge different representations together. This allows users to control subsets of their workspace, giving them the power and flexibility that typical desktop interfaces do not provide. In conclusion, Masonview showcases the potential for more content-driven workflows by decomposing web pages into components and composing them into mashups with the use of viewports and viewplates. These two concepts together enhance user expressiveness as it enables more flexible layouts and organizations of their information space. With Masonview, we lay the foundation for a content-driven approach to managing information spaces on the desktop.